So, when I'm gaming today, I'll be using the backbone. This is the PlayStation backbone, and this is something I definitely recommend you pick up if you are planning to game on your mobile phone. We'll also be testing a good few games, as well as how well this phone can dissipate heat due to the cooling chamber inside this thing, as well as long-term management in cooling and also battery as well. So we'll be focusing on that too. So our first game is going to be Minecraft, and some of you may be thinking, how is this an intensive game? Well, in actuality, with this Minecraft, you get a new feature, which is more of a high fidelity gameplay. I'll show you what I mean. So above, you'll be able to see all the necessary information you need to see, like the CPU and GPU load, as well as the frame rate. So as you can see, look, in game, this just looks amazing. You're able to see the light reflect off water, as well as my own shadow. The resolution here is simply stunning, as well as looking at my shadow as well. You're able to see everything. You can also see that the GPU is under 100% load, showing that this is quite taxing on the phone's GPU. So, mind I be quiet and let's get to the game. Okay, so you're noticing that there are a few frame rate drops as chunks begin to load in. I'm definitely feeling the phone get warm to the touch. However, playing does feel okay, but we are seeing some frame rate drops here. Okay, it does feel like I'm getting a low frame rate here. However, the phone is getting quite warm to the touch actually. So it doesn't seem to be handling Minecraft very well at the moment. However, I do think when optimizations comes into place, this game will run so much better. Okay, so frame rate wise, we are seeing 13 FPS, which is actually pretty bad. So let me see if I can drop the render distance and see if that helps. Okay, so I've dropped it down to around about 2 chunks and we can see how that works. Okay, we seem to be getting even worse frame rate. Okay, we seem to be going up now, 15, 16 frames per second. However, we do seem to be hovering around that 15, 20 frames per second range, which is not really the best when you're talking about a phone that can play PC games. Yeah, this is definitely not playing very well. feel like I'm losing frame rates as I travel more around. I definitely recommend Minecraft giving some more updates for this game to improve the frame rate, as this is abysmal. So our next game is Game Hub, and this is where we're going to be playing PC games. So unfortunately, I was only able to get Metro and The Witcher to run very well. The other games I could not get imported. So the first game we're going to play is Metro, and this is one of my favorite games of all time. And trust me, you'll be surprised on how well this game runs.
Was it to visit the abandoned station? Who persuaded the others to go? I always tell them that I don't remember. I always lie. It is a safe lie. Or there is no way to ascertain the truth. Both Vitaly and Eugene are dead now. The massive airlock doors shrugged and opened with a grinding sound, opening a road to hell for us and a road into the metro for the demons. But in fact, it all started that day when Mother said we should take a walk in the botanical gardens and go there by metro. I remember how we took a short escalator to the surface, how we exited a spacious glass pavilion and saw a street buried in green. I remember the smoke clouds moving across the limitless sky, the soft, cool wind on my face.
I still can't get over the fact that this is running amazing.
That was the last time I tasted it. That day, humanity was executed. The righteous and the sinful were called to be rendered according to their deeds. And we hid from God's sight in the metro. And we were saved from his wrath. And he apparently decided that flushing us out wasn't worth the trouble. Then he went about his business, or perhaps died, while we stayed on this used up and discarded earth and continued just going with it, going nowhere. I remember so many random, unnecessary things, yet I don't remember the most important one. My mother's face. She died very soon after the war started. All that remains of her is that day in the gardens. How I wished I could recall her face. The way she looked at me. The way she whispered that I have nothing to fear. I'd sell my soul just to recall that. I'd do that any day, any time. And I did.
Honestly, this is an amazing game, and if you've not played this game, I definitely recommend you give this game a go. So here, you'll be able to see the frame rates and the GPU. So the GPU is absolutely being abused here, but compared to Minecraft, it seems to be running much better, which is crazy, because that doesn't make sense. Let's play.
The dark ones came much later, from the garden's direction. The dark...
Okay, so we get around about an average of 30 frames per second. At times we get around about 50, however, usually I expect around 30 from this game.
I tried calling my family, but couldn't get through. What the? What happened? Shit! 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 What's going on here? days ago, I was near the ruins of the Dark One's hive, and I saw one of them, still alive. I immediately set out to find you, as you were the one they tried to contact, before you launched the missile strike against them. Khan, how the hell did you get here? Get out, now! Yes, Solomon, one moment. If a Dark One has survived, it is vital that you try to speak with it, Artyom. I realize that as one of the Order now, you report to Miller. But we must persuade him to allow this mission. Khan, I told you to get out! This is a classified base. You shouldn't even be here. I'll take you to Colonel Miller. Follow me, Artyom. Get ready, Artyom. I'll be waiting at the exit. Move it, you windbag. I knew a smoker once. During the last year of
Okay,
his life.
so I can definitely feel this phone getting hot to the touch, where we actually are seeing that the phone is beginning to throttle itself. So if you are planning to do any PC gaming, I definitely recommend you pick up a fan. Also, the one thing you'll notice is random textures will clip to black, and this is random. However, except that, game speed seems to be running very fine. Everything feels mostly fluid. You get around about 18-20 FPS. However, I do think it is due to the phone beginning to get hot and starting to throttle. When it's cooler, I've actually been seeing 50 frames per second. So if we drop that down to low, let's see what we're looking at. To be honest, the fact that we actually are running this with the resolution, texture resolution very high is amazing. What? Okay, so we definitely are seeing that this phone is struggling to run this game, but I don't understand, as I was seeing much better performance prior. I think this may be due to the phone overheating, which is something that you'll encounter quite a lot. So in checking the temperature, you can actually see this phone is overheating. So it's definitely going to be something that you will need to keep an eye on when it comes to gaming, where the phone will tend to overheat when playing anything intensive. So I'm going to let this phone cool down before I decide to play any more further games. But if you are planning to PC game on this phone, I definitely would recommend you getting a cooler.